Alright, I don't usually do limited release movies. I usually just stick to worldwide release movies. But this movie actually came out in my local theater, and I thought I'd check it out, but then again, from all the other YouTubers I heard, it's like, it's not that, I mean, it's kind of, sorry about that. But anyway, I was like thinking to myself, should I go see this movie? I mean, it looks pretty good, but you know, I don't want to just feel like I walked into like an movie with expectations and then get a review or something like that. But for some reason, I talked myself into it for some odd reason. I don't know why, but I did. And I didn't hate this movie, but this movie was definitely what I expected. Yeah, and here's why. I mean, here's the thing. The trailer, it shows so much like the beauty and the beautiful cinematography and how the story looks, and it looks like it'd be very good and pretty intense for what the trailer was worth. But then again, when you see this movie, it has that beautiful cinematic artistic vision, but yet it lacks in the storytelling and the character development and pretty much everything about that. That's really what this movie is. You have your beautiful cinematic artistic vision, and then you have the story that just kind of lingers. It just doesn't really do much. Now, there were some aspects of this movie that I liked, some of them that I didn't really like so much. Oh yeah, there's plenty of violence in this movie, like probably a little bit more than Drive, I think. That's just to me. It felt weird to me that the movie was set in Bangkok. It just didn't really feel right, so to say. It just didn't... It felt weird, the fact that it is kind of like a foreign movie, and I don't know. I guess I'm just racist. I guess I am. Yeah, I'm probably racist. It just didn't feel right, the setting being in Bangkok, and having Ryan Gosling having to go against this one guy whose name I do not know how to pronounce. All I know is that it starts with a V. And I like the villain in this movie. He is actually a pretty good villain. For a guy that I've never heard of or ever seen him, he's probably done other foreign movies that I have absolutely no idea I've ever heard of, but I actually liked him as a villain in this movie. He does pretty good, and he's pretty good with the sword too. I mean, you see him, he's just like, whoa, you know, he's like, look at me, I'm such a badass. It's like that. He looks so cool flinging that sword all over the place. But though, like, characters like Ryan Gosling and Kristen Scott Thomas, I think that's how you say your name, you know, it's like they have all the potential, but they're just not letting it all out. It's kind of like Ryan Gosling's like doing the opposite from what he did in Drive. Well, actually, I take that back. It's kind of like what he does in Drive, sort of. Like, you can kind of tell from like his emotion standards, and he doesn't talk much, but it just didn't really convince me that much as a character. Kristen Scott Thomas, I knew she was trying. I just think she kind of overtried for a movie like this, or she overdid it for a movie like this. It just didn't her character just didn't feel right. It didn't connect with me in any way. And the movie's really about revenge. I mean, let's face it, how many revenge movies can you think of? You can name a whole crapload of revenge movies. But, well, it's a revenge movie about Kristen Scott Thomas's oldest son who just got killed by the guy, that villain's name that starts with a V in real life. I don't know his name. But he's really cool in the movie, like I said before. But the story, it just never really interested me in any way. And the story, like, it just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't add on to anything. It just doesn't, it's just kind of there. It just kind of throws these things in there, which, I mean, because the guy, director, Nicholas Winding Refn, you know, have you ever seen Drive? Which I'm actually going to do a review of that a little bit sometime today. But, I mean, I compare this movie to Drive, and Drive, it told much more of a better story than this movie did, and I was really shocked that this movie didn't tell at least a story that I wanted to feel and something that can actually be added onto it and make it a great movie. I just didn't feel that with this movie. I felt it in Drive, but I did not feel it at all in Only God Forgives. And plus, the movie's like an hour and a half, so it's very short, and they don't really add much onto it, and it feels like they could have added more. Definitely add more story development, more character development, and just everything in general. But, like I said before, the movie has moments, and it's definitely cinematically well made, and it's like a very artistic type movie. Just the feel, just really the feel of it, you know, the tone. That's what this movie has, really just tone. Everything else, it just lacks in so much, which is why I'd probably give this movie a 5. It's really a 5. I mean, I love to drive, but I didn't like this movie, so to say. And probably a lot of other YouTubers might say the same thing. And that's my review of Only God Forgives, the very first limited release movie I've actually ever seen. I don't plan on seeing any other one for a while unless I really feel like it or I'm convinced that it's going to be dumb, but I go see it anyway. I really don't know why I went and saw this movie. I was like, hey, this might look good. And it has moments. But thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, tell all your friends, and hopefully I will see you sometime oh my god. Hopefully I'll see you sometime later on today. Bye.